Hi everybody, it's Carrie and welcome to another video. Ooh. I know what you guys are probably thinking, like, girl, where the heck did you go? Or did you guys really care? Because let's be honest. Ignore the mess. You guys are seeing my background. Of course, I still have a lot of boxes from like Christmas that I acquired, and I just need to go, drop them off and everything to get recycled, but they have been hanging out in my room for the time being. I was doing so well with Vlogmas, guys, like so well. I was so proud of myself. I didn't really miss much of the days until I did. Basically, what ended up happening is I ended up deciding to go to Anime Weekend, which if you guys don't follow me on Instagram, make sure you're following me on Instagram because I tend to post more content on Instagram just because, of course, it's like so easy to take a quick picture and like make a post opposed to YouTube. It's like, the long form videos, recording, editing, a lot more goes into YouTube than Instagram. So I post a little bit more frequent on Instagram. So make sure to check it out. I ended up deciding to go AWA, and I had crocheted gifts for 3 content creators that I love to watch and everything. The first one was Sundrop Studios, the second one was Made with April, and then the third one was Peppercut Studios or Julianne Doodles. I ended up deciding, like, literally, I think it was like Thursday night, like right before the convention, I was like, oh, I'm gonna make gifts for all of them. And I crocheted Miffy, I crocheted a like little pigman or whatever, and then I crocheted all 5 sprouts for Julianne. And so I decided I was gonna go to Atlanta. I got on the MARTA, whole 9 yard. I think it took me like an hour and a half to get there. At the convention for a little bit, and then I turned around, got back on the MARTA thing, came back home. If you guys don't know, I always mention this, I do, the horse barn and everything full time. And one of the things with the horse barn is we do a lot of horses that are, of course, sick, and a lot of horses that are maybe at the end of their lives. And so kind of around that same time frame, we learned that one of the older horses we had at our barn was pretty sick. He had gotten aspiration pneumonia because of another problem he has that can't be fixed. It's kind of like he had this issue. We knew at some point it was probably gonna happen, but like Saturday and Sunday, he was like diagnosed with it. And so like that was a whole nother thing. Long story short, came back from AWA, had a good time. I know it was a horrible convention for like everyone. I had a good time. I got to meet everybody, say hi to everybody. Then I got sick. I don't know if it was AWA. I don't know if it was the fact that I had gone to the convention with my brother and he had been like almost had like a verge of a cold for a while. So I don't know if maybe spending so much time with him, public transport, convention, all that type of stuff. And then of course I got sick, and then I came back, and then everything with this horse, it was just a lot of treatments. It was a lot of like taking temperatures every 2 hours, multiple medications throughout the day, nebulizer treatments, all that type of stuff. And it just ended up taking a lot of time. Then it was like Christmas, and I was like, okay, I don't really have much to show. I was doing a lot of custom work, and I don't really know how interesting custom work really is. And the fact that like somehow this year for Christmas, I got pretty much the same like items for custom work. They were all horses, so it was like rinse and repeat of the same pattern, just like different colors, all that type of stuff. So I was like, is this really interesting? I actually finished up early this year. I think I finished up the 21st or 22nd, I believe, and that was kind of nice. Last year I was literally crocheting like Christmas Eve. I was finishing up my brother's present at 10 p.m. So I didn't have to deal with that this year. Super good. I didn't take on any crazy New Year's crochet things. And because of that, I have been able to experiment a little bit more with some different crocheting to just expand my portfolio, and then hopefully expand this little nifty business into next year. I have been messaged a few times about the felt eyes, so I am planning on still doing a felt eyes release. I'm gonna redo the bluey eyes. I think there might be like 1 or 2 more pairs of the stitch eyes on Etsy. I'm gonna try and add another character or another type of eye, and then I'm also looking at doing some safety eyes as well, which is super fun, and I'll be able to show you guys some of the safety eyes I have been painting recently with some of these creations, just because I've definitely pushed myself to do more than I did before with just doing like different styles, a little bit more sewing. I just felt like my portfolio was quite horrendous because of the fact that I have been so hyper focused on stores and markets that I haven't really been able to push myself. And honestly, I felt like my own crocheting wasn't that good because I wasn't able to challenge myself. Like I was like, okay, well, I'm kind of making the same shape or the same thing like 20 times. Like at this point I should be able to do something okay, but yeah, I was just struggling a little bit. I tried to write a new pattern. I'm gonna show you guys it, but I kind of hate it. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. I was creating the minus, or I can't remember what the Pokemon's name actually is, but it's the minus and plus little bunny. On camera it doesn't look that bad, but I don't know. I'm uncertain. If you guys think it's cute, maybe I'll finish it, and then I gotta do the plus sign for the tail and then make the minus one as well. Or maybe when I do the minus one, I'll alter it. But I was trying to do some pattern designing because I definitely want to try do some of that next year, but sometimes I lack the motivation or the inspiration to do pattern creation. It's just like, it's totally different, but I definitely want to try and do more this year because I feel like as I'm trying to expand my business into something a little bit more sustainable, I kind of need the sustainable things. And I should say, I have this super adorbs little new notebook. I don't know. Yeah, I got this super adorable new notebook. I always go to this one store. It's like an Asian store. Korean notebooks are my fave. The quality of paper, everything about it's perfect. And I was able to write down some things for my market for the last year. So I'm planning on filming a 2023 small business overview that's gonna include my overall square revenue, store revenue, YouTube stats, how much I've gotten paid, all of that good stuff. I just have to record it, and honestly, I was not gonna record this video because I ended up, let's just get this out of the way, I ended up closing one of my stores literally like yesterday, 2 days ago. I'm no longer in one store. I'm moving out of 2 stores come the end of February. I just haven't given my notice yet, but I'm set on it. So I had gotten shelves. So my plan is, you can see that sign back there is from one of the stores. I want to put the shelves down here, and then I'm going to put some of my nicer plushies up in the background so you guys can see, I guess, some of my work. I don't know. I do have that for you guys to watch, but I want to do safety eyes in the next launch. I want to do felt eyes. I might do something else. I don't want to say what it is because I just like, it's going to take a little bit for me to figure it out, and hopefully have some patterns this year. I do some character work, and I also want to do some like creating of like, I guess, normal patterns or whatnot. I have a certain idea. It's been on my head for the last 2 days, so I might also give that a whirl, but I don't know. Don't quote me. Let me show you guys some of the things I have been making. I've been a little bit slower just because they are bigger pieces. It's just been good because I've been also trying to figure out what patterns I'm carrying into 2025 for my markets alongside what new characters I'm doing. A lot of this has been big sewing work. I needed a better portfolio in my opinion. My portfolio sucked, like I said, and I have applied to a lot more bigger festivals, I guess that makes sense. I'm still gonna do the single day market for some of the moms, but there's quite a few markets where I'm applying for 2-day markets. I don't feel like my normal work is like quite good enough. Like, just the picture of my booth doesn't really show people what I'm capable of. I wanted to make some pieces that people would be like, okay, that girl can crochet a little bit better than the average gal. So that's what I've done. But I'm gonna show you guys the first thing that I literally just completed tonight. I have this fuzzy ferret, and I'm gonna try and remember, none of these are gonna be on the pattern list. Please don't ask me about it because like literally I also had to buy a new computer. I was not expecting that. My old computer died, so I lost all of my PDF files. So I'm not gonna know everybody's, but this pattern is by the Crochet Cloud. So I have this little ferret. I'm looking at doing this next year as a normal market make. There is sewing. I mean, pretty much everything is sewn. There's nothing crocheted into this. And I ended up doing it in Little Bunny, I think. I am going into 2025 also wanting to experiment a little bit more on yarn choices, doing a little bit more textured yarn in some instances, as well as doing things like the safety eyes for larger pieces to bring in more personality. I do have this ferret. I'll probably make 1 or 2 just to have this as a new item for my first market, which is not till probably April or May. Crazy. So I've got this guy, just finished him tonight. Continuing with fuzzy yarn. Now guys, I'm not 100% certain about this actual creation. Like I did not do the pattern justice. I felt like I needed to do something not in fuzzy yarn, but that night I was committed to it. Really gets me is the eyes. I love the eyes I painted in this one. It's like a little foot, I think, instead of a big foot. It's like a big foot and a small version. He's got his big feet with his toes, but as you can tell, same thing. I did this guy and little bunny. Let's talk about these eyes. I don't know if you guys can really experience their true beauty in my room, but I absolutely love these eyes. I went back and forth when I was painting them because I was painting eyes for a separate project, and I just kind of go with what like I'm feeling when I'm painting, and I ended up going with a dark background with this color shifting, which I think is just like I said, come on camera, I'm in love, really in love with this one if I'm being honest. If you guys happen to be maybe interested in safety eyes, let me know as well, because I do enjoy it. I'm just trying to find here because my camera. I'm just trying to find a reliable source to get more than a few at a time, like bulk eyes. But got this guy done. The eyes are like, they have my heart. That might be like my favorite eyes I've painted so far. I'll show you guys my Pokemon. The first one I have is Umbreon, and I gotta say that pattern and this pattern are both by Red Mills Crochets. I think you can purchase them. I'm not 100% certain. Most of these patterns that I have are actually through Patreon, just because I am a part of so many people's Patreon, and I really wanted to make it a goal for 2025 to utilize the Patreon subscriptions that I am a part of, because if I'm paying the money, I might as well use the patterns. So this is another one that I got from Red Mills, and I just got it, you know, as part of her Patreon and everything. So I have this Umbreon, super cute. I painted the eyes as well. Okay, let's see. Trying to see. So it's gonna be hard for you guys to see, I think, but there's like little stars in this. It's got that kind of shine as well. I think it really gives a lot of character to the piece, and that's one of my goals for larger pieces, is to have more personality in them. And really, I wanted to create pieces where somebody walked by my tent, they'd be like, oh my god. Some of those pieces for me have been like the Blueies, the Lilo and Stitch, and it's just such a nice feeling when people see your like tent from across the like walkway parking area, and they're like, oh my god, I have to go there. My last market, when I had some more like technically challenging pieces like Lilo, the larger Stitch, Bluey, people were doing that, and I was like, okay, this is exactly what I need to prioritize going in 2025. It's just having some showstopper pieces, having the safety eyes where I'm painting them, and having it where like somebody's like, oh my god, I gotta go to that tent, opposed to my normal stuff, which always brings people in, but it's like, they're like, oh, crochet, but like this is, I'm trying to create pieces where people are like, I have to go there. So hopefully it can lead to more sales, but don't quote me. So I've got this cute little Umbreon, painted the eyes. I have this Vaporeon. This is from, let me just, I think I have the file. Let me look really quickly. This is by Pebbles Crochet Shop. And so I have this Vaporeon, same thing. I painted these eyes. Come on, camera. So I did it with a blue background, and then also it has some yellow kind of flakes in the eye, which I thought would tie really well with the body color and everything, but same thing. I painted these eyes. I think it turned out super cute, and it was I'm not gonna say it was like a straightforward pattern. All of these patterns have a lot of sewing, so maybe I would definitely not say the most beginner friendly patterns, but it's always good, like particularly for me, like I said before, challenging myself to see that I can still do things like this, even though I might not do it on a regular basis like some creators do. So I have this Vaporeon. Continuing with character items, I have this Sonic. Sonic is definitely a labor of love. This pattern, I got it during a sale, and so this is by Hook and Haven Studio. At the same time, I had gotten the like little Cumming people from this person. This is the Sonic. I ended up going with felt eyes that I cut out on the Cricut because I thought they just looked better than round safety eyes, and I could add the little bit of a pupil. His little smile. I Did all the sewing back here for the spikes. Little feet, I ended up doing him in Snuggles Light and Chanel Home Slim. I had gone back and forth about doing him in Premiere just because of the fact that the red is definitely more like a bright red. But then when I looked at it, I was like, it's such a minuscule amount of red. I didn't really have the correct colors or enough in the Premiere to get through this, so I ended up deciding just to do Sweet Snuggles Light and Chanel Home Slim for this guy. But I have this Sonic. Moving on to the last big piece that I did, I think I finished it up last night, I think. I'm planning on probably making one more like this to go with this as like, maybe to display them as a pair, but to do the other one in like a pink blue scheme. I have this Jester Dragon. It can't fit in the frame. I have this, and this is from Joyfully Meraki. The M one is M-E-R-A-K-I. This is the same thing. I am part of this person's Patreon, so I wanted to go ahead and make this guy. It is a large piece, I guess you could say, since I can't put it all in the frame. And it did require some sewing, but I would say not as much as the Sonic did, but still a good deal of sewing and a lot of details. So color changes, things like that. Same thing, I did end up painting these safety eyes. So it's got some of that shine, and then the background is more of a green blue color to match the ice green that is on the body. Got the little wings. I did the little bunny for the collar, the pom-poms, and the tail pom-pom right here. I've got this guy, as you can tell, like I said, much larger, but I think if I can have him, and I think if I can have one more, it's definitely going to be a piece that brings attention, I guess, to my table, just because I don't really think that any of the crocheters around me that I've personally seen at markets that I go to, and they're always there, I don't think I've ever seen them have something like this. That's really important to me, like I always say, and I think it's one of the most important things you can do for doing markets. It's just variety is key, having pieces that stand out, and that's one of the reasons why I kind of shift away from using so many patterns from larger creators. It's just because I feel like they're so easily accessible, versus a lot of the patterns that I've been trying to branch off into using are more unique or more patterns from smaller creators that I don't think like everyone's gonna gravitate towards or really do the digging into to find. So everybody, I just wanted to come on here and show you guys what I just crocheted recently. I'm not gonna say in a week, anything like that, just because I've been taking things a little bit easy between custom work. Still have a few customs that I need to finish up, even though we're past Christmas. They were just customs that were just finish whenever you can finish them. So I still got a few things like that, and I'm not quite back into making a ton of quantity like I have been doing with market prepping, but I'll get back into it at some point, and at that point you guys will get back to your weekly crochet in a week videos where it's just like 20 or 30 items. I'm just not back to that yet. I know I need to kind of start prepping, because at the same time I have just been so much enjoying like trying new patterns, all that type of stuff. It is so much fun, so I keep going back and forth. I'm like, oh, I don't really want to do it but I know I need to do it. So that's what I have for you guys. Let me know if you guys are interested in any safety eyes for the next felt eyes drop. My feeling is it's gonna be kind of towards the end of January or middle of January, but of course make sure you're following my Instagram, because I will post all that on Instagram probably before YouTube. So I'm gonna do that, hopefully make some more patterns. Let me know if you guys like that little Pokemon over there or what your thoughts are on it. I mean, I don't know, sometimes it's one of those things where you look at it and you're like, ugh, I don't like it, and then everyone else might like it or be like, hey, it's actually kind of good, just change the, you know, that's how life works. That's what I have for you guys. I hope you guys had an amazing Christmas. By the time this video comes out, I don't know if it will be New Year's or if it will be past New Year's, what's gonna happen. I hope you guys have a great New Year's as well, and I will see you guys in the next video, which will be my 2023 market overview and small business overview. So if you're interested in the nitty gritty, some of the financial side, some of the details, make sure to stick around for that video. So I hope you guys have an amazing rest of the day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!